Okay, it's the 23rd of May. Things are really kicking off in the garden, so I thought I'd just do another quick update and have a quick walk round. Okay, it's my favourite time of year, I think, in the garden because things are really going hell for leather now. Still got lots of stuff in the greenhouse to go out. Got Peruvian black mint that looks scarily like cannabis when you're growing it. Got some Korean mint there. I've got some Aztec broccoli, which I've not grown before. I've got some weeds in this one. Celeriac. I've got some purple sprouting I just started off last night. And then over here I've got some New Zealand yams to go out. Some peppers. More tomatoes. I might put a bed in the front garden yet, so to put some more tomatoes in. And down here I've got some leeks. Unfortunately my leeks didn't come up, so I had to re-sow them, which was a bit of a pain. So they're a bit further behind than where I'd like them to be. But I think they'll still do alright, as long as I give them a bit of intention when they're outside. I've got some herbs here, some dill, some lovage, some parsley, and some phalias here as well. I've got my sweet corn, which was last year's seed. I probably didn't store it very well. And I've had about 10% germination, so I don't think I'll be having any sweet corn this year. I've got a couple of cucumbers, Syrian cucumbers in some old, I'll show you the feed pots that I've been using. These are like mineral pots for sheep, so a few holes in the bottom. They've got no handles, so no good as a bucket, but for that they're great. And then in the bigger greenhouse, I've got some more stuff started off. So I've got some French beans that need to go out to harden off. I've got lots of rosemary seeds, which I did. I'd like to have a bit of genetic diversity, so I think just taking cuttings is always a bit dangerous. So I've grown some from seed for the first year, and I want to put in a bit of a rosemary hedge, probably in the front garden and down the side of the veg garden. I've also got some cucamelons coming on, and some different herbs that I've potted up, as well as some savoury. And then down here, you can see these are my buckets of tomatoes. So I think I've got 8 or 9 different varieties in there. My daughter's run a bean that she grew from school. And then out here I've got some seedlings ready to go out again, some Brussels sprouts, some normal broccoli, lots and lots of my comfrey root cuttings. I've done a few more since I last did a video. Really want to propagate that. And then here I've got peas. You can see they're up to chest height. So I'm really pleased with those. Monge 2 and a tall type. So I'm looking forward to having them. I love Monge 2. I love any peas. And then under here, got my carrots. They're doing really well. I'm really pleased with how big they are. So I might need to thin them out or eat the thinnings. And then under this one, I've got some spinach. You can see the spinach in there. It's just started to bolt, I think. That's not spinach, it's a weed. So I might have a last harvest of that and freeze some. I'm tempted to try drying some. I've got a spare bed there, which can have some summer squash in soon. This one has got summer squash underneath. They've only transplanted a few days ago. I've got my broad beans, which are, kind of just below waist height. I'm really pleased with these. And it doesn't look like there's any black fly at the moment, so which is unusual because normally I always get it. Soft neck garlic. Got a bed of lettuce there, which will crop out in a few weeks' time. I've got some kohl rabbi, and these are just starting to form up. I don't know how well you're going to be able to get the camera around there. You can't see it at all. Just starting to form up as their little balls of stuff. It's a really great brassica crop, that really quick. And then got my carrots, second batch coming on. And then the next bed down is some lettuce. This is called can. So I've been cropping this out all last week. I've only got a few left, probably about half a dozen. I've been selling them at the school gate. And the idea is to get them out now, this is next week, and then put another batch of carrots in. So it'll be my third lot of carrots. I've got red Russian kale, which is growing brilliantly. I've not used any yet, so pretty poor on my behalf. Need to harvest some of that and cook it up for tea. That's just it's pushing on the net now, so you can see how big it's getting. So I could do with taking a few leaves off that. And I've got some red cabbage down here as well. under net. You can see how well they're doing, really romping away. And then under here, I think these are my pride and joy this year. You can see these and how good the leaves look. I'll see if I can. I'm not going to pull one, but the beetroot and it's dechuggering. They're all about that size, some baby beets. So I'm going to start selling them next week and harvesting for ourselves. So I'm really looking forward to eating them. And there's no flea beetle on the leaves or anything. Then down here, I've got some radishes. This is second batch of radishes. I mean, they are lovely little radishes. Really mild. I don't like them too. I don't know if it's bitter or spicy, but I don't like them too much if they're hot. So I think those ones are lovely. Then down here I've got 2 beds of New Zealand yams. These are experimental ones. So the first 3 get harvested in September, next get harvested October, November, December, and we work out the yields from that. So that's with the Guild of Orchid Breeders. Under this one, got my golden beetroots. They're coming on really nicely, and they'll be about a couple of weeks behind the chugger. And I've got some tomatoes under this frame here, which I'm planning on just kind of either leaving 1 or 2 trusses on and then cropping them, snipping them off, so that I get earlier harvests of them and they don't get blight outside. It's a bit of a problem. Down here I've got coriander, which is confetti. Everyone keeps mistaking it for carrot tops. It's really tasty. And then I've got rat-tail radish, a nice meaty patch of that, which I'm growing for seed, for the seed swap, the Heritage Seed Library. And then down here, this is another one for seed as well. This one's called white-seeded Samara, and it's a butterhead lettuce, and they're just starting to heart up. And they look lovely. So I think probably half that bed for ourselves and to sell, and then half for the seed. So not very interested in anything really. Got potatoes. Those are the outside ones, and then I've got some bigger ones under there. You can see those. They're doing really well. Won't be long till we've got some new potatoes to eat. And then this is my own spicy mix of rocket, and there's some mustards in there. And I think unfortunately I might have put a few turnips in there. This seems to be growing as well. Then down here, this is my cut flower garden. So I've got clary, statice, and snapdragon, I think. So Mum grew those for me from seed. I'm not going to take credit for them, but it's great. And last year we had half that size. We're having a bunch a week in the house, and it's just a really nice thing to do, I think. Got another batch of koi rabbi there coming on, and they'll be probably 2 or 3 weeks later than the first lot. Some more red cabbage, again to kind of give myself a bit of succession. Got first bed of French beans in, and they seem to have taken well, and they're going off. They're all transplanted. And then I've got another batch of peas here. These ones are a bit closer together. They should only grow 18 inches high, like a petit pot, I think they call them. So I'm looking forward to those. And these are soup peas, not done as well as the ones up there, kind of waist height. They're still doing pretty good. Oh, and there's a row of comfrey at the bottom that I put in, and then 6 foot of nettles, which I need to start looking at tackling. And then the other things I've been doing in the garden lately, or just outside it, is increasing my compost area. So if you followed my blog, you'll saw that I tidied up these bins. So I turned it all over. I put a couple of squash underneath those nice umbrellas there to grow on. Made myself a wilting table to dry the weed roots out, make sure they're dead before I put them into the compost. And then I also built 3 more of them. So I've got some wood chip that I had left over and some sheep muck from last year to start them off, and then I'll build them up over the year. And then in the second garden, you walk this way. I'm trying to put in lower maintenance crops, but I think there will have to be some salads and stuff in there as well, because I'm running out of beds down there. Oh. So I've got here under this fleece, I'm trying beetroot through holes in plastic. So they're doing all right. I've already just seen one that's missing. So we'll see how they do. And then further on up, I don't think the yields will be the same because they're not planted nearly as close. And then I've been preparing these beds. So I've got 16 beds here, 2 lots of 8. and the first lot's sorted. The second lot I need to move some more muck and fork it all over. But down here I've got a row of winter squash, and I'll put them next to the fence so they can climb up and away that way. I've got 2 empty rows for now, which I think are going to be brassicas, and then on this one I've got a row of quinoa. So I've not grown this one before. The seeds were from a friend, so we'll see how they do. I put them at foot spacing. I've done 3 rows to a bed, so it might be a bit tight. It depends how big they get. Like I said, I've not grown it before, and everywhere says 12-inch spacing, and that should work out roughly right. So yeah, that's the garden at the moment. If you like this video, please click subscribe, give me a thumbs up, pop over to the blog and leave a comment, and thanks for watching.